Hey man, thank y'all. Come back watching some LSTV. This is your host Lance Sissany. I'm going to go through some of the important topics today. I saw on Twitter today something that I would consider to be the best supporting evidence for Joe Biden's reelection. And there's not a lot, I will admit that. However, um, oh, here we go. Sorry. Um, you know, the internet loves to crash my computer when I'm trying to do a video. But yes, this would be, in my opinion, the best evidence for a Joe Biden reelection campaign. Uh, we'll open up the article here from Axios. Uh, New study projects devastating losses to drug development, jobs, and patient health in the biopharma ecosystem. Sounds like a bunch of gobbledygook, but if we open up the actual article here, I hope it will allow us to read the headlines. Sometimes they're blocked behind the payment system. But there we go. 237 fewer FDA approvals and up to 1.1 million jobs are at risk over the regulation of the healthcare industry. Now, I don't like the message, but if this is the purported direction of this administration, I would love to see fewer FDA approvals and less uh, federal tax dollars spent on pharmaceutical interventions in our lives. And I don't think I'm alone in that desire. But, that's just one of the many deceptions that they would try to pull on us, is that they would want us to think that they're in it for our best interest, they're in it for our health, but actually, drug companies are making a lot of money. So, another news story that's hitting the headlines these days is a piece about the Texas Attorney General was acquitted on all his charges. I mean, and this is driving people crazy. This is driving people through the roof. They just can't believe that Texas Democrats let this corrupt Republican Attorney General skate through the system. But, you know, if there was a case, yeah, I believe, especially in Texas, it would have been tried um, respectively, and the correct um, judgment would have been found. I don't know what this. It seems like they're just mad they didn't get their way, to be honest with me. And now they're cannibalizing themselves. Now the left are eating themselves. They're going after each other. They're mad that their own pundits did not allow them to push this through without the due process and the judgment. We're getting this guy. I mean, I get him a lot actually. I wish I didn't have to see his post, but this Brooklyn dad guy. Um, he's complaining that the pundit who interviewed Trump on uh, the NBC program didn't pressure him hard enough. He says Kristen Welker didn't conduct an interview of Trump. She did a promotional fluff piece, which she repeatedly referred to him as Mr. President and allowed him to slam President Biden with lies. And, you know, so you're not going to make these people happy. Um, and if you don't, they're going to go after each other, and they're going to root out their problems. They're going to root out their problematic people on their own, and that would really help us all out, I think, if they, didn't continue to insist that their most highest paid journalists are the arbiters or the bastions of truth. Um, the Washington Post is not necessarily the most left-leaning organization. However, speaking of leftists cannibalizing each other, you know, they've been in favor of this immigration policy for quite some time. However, an all Muslim council's decision to block the display of pride flags on city property in a small Michigan town has angered allies and members of the LGBTQ community who feel the support they provided immigrant groups has been reciprocated with betrayal. So, this is a great indication to show you that the leftists feel that their rights that they extend to you, that they are in control of, should be met with a sense of gratitude. And should they extend to you the right or the favor of rights, that you should be obligatory to them and to extend appreciation uh, in an obligatory manner. And I think there's a lot of people who would kind of argue with that. That's just another kind of propaganda. And today we got another type of propaganda. This propaganda is being rebranded. Propaganda is not propaganda anymore. Propaganda is not what it used to be. Propaganda is something totally different these days. Uh, I know I wrote that headline for a reason. Oh yeah, yeah, this is great. Okay, so propaganda used to be something that was like words entered into your ears of information of the news reporters telling you the supposed facts. Now, the World Economic Forum talks about mind control using sound waves. I'm trying to figure out how much different that is than just straight up telling you lies over the air. But I think they're just trying to frame it a different way so you don't go after them, for their bullshit lies. And I thank you for joining me, all you people, all you great, wonderful people who continue to come back to my show and enjoy the topics that I discuss. Um, you know, who's famous for this propaganda? Who's famous for propaganda? You know who's famous for this propaganda. I've been talking about him a whole lot now. Who's famous for this propaganda? Russia. That's the ones that they always tell us is the ones to be doing the propaganda. I mean, honestly, if we're gonna say, who's probably the best at it, maybe the best. I don't know. I think we're actually getting pretty close. But who's coming into their own, at least on this propaganda level, uh, is Russia. And this is a response I had to this. I want to see what the original post is from the ambassador, Bridget Brink, who is the United States ambassador in Ukraine. Uh, you know, so we're not pulling up some schlups here. We're looking at the people who are really going on with this stuff. But come on. I guess I'm gonna have to close some windows here. Um, watch. Yeah, it wants to like lag up on me, but it's okay. They keep on doing this to me every time, but I'm always prepared for it. I'm always, yes, I can just crash that stuff. I'm in the middle of it right now. Would you like to say hello? Okay, my daughter's here. I'm kind of in the middle of it, but she kind of wants to say hello. She can if she wants to. I definitely wouldn't mind, but um, this is not necessarily the subject matter that would interest you. So, you want another sandwich? Well, I'll be done in just a second. See, so we're gonna try to shorten this up real quick, okay? Um, I said they're making a great case why the world should accept more Russian grain. And the original post from Ambassador Bridget Brink was, let's see if I can at least expand this. Um, she is encouraged to hear last night that two civilian ships have entered a Black Sea port to load nearly 20,000 tons of grain for Africa and Asia. The first ships to arrive since Russia's cynical withdrawal from the Black Sea Grain Initiative. Russia's response: dawn attacks on the Odessa region, while Ukrainian grain feeds the world. Russia wages war on the civilian infrastructure needed to do it. And my response was, you're way off base. Because if you look at the accounting, and I'll pull this up right here, this was my research that I pulled up in response to what she was saying, is that Russia provides the world with a exponentially larger amount of cheap food, which is not necessarily the best indication of humanitarian aid, mind you. Cheap carbohydrates. It's not the best dietary supplement. However, if we're looking at the countries who provide the world with more food, we will have to look and say that, here we go. Um, Russia provides in tons of wheat 85 million, almost 86 million tons of wheat. Ukraine almost 25 million, which, is admirable. However, if we're going to compare who is actually responsible for feeding the world and providing cheap food, I don't believe we should be indicting Ukraine for that exact reason. But that's just me being a propagandist. Nobody wants to hear the Westerners say that maybe that the way that the world's been advertised to us and the rest of the world isn't in our own best interest, but then we have to look more deeply at it. We have to think, what is the point of this war? What is the point of this war? And I believe a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about that and what that could possibly mean and what that could possibly be. But we can just take a minute to investigate some tweets about it. Um, we say here, if Putin isn't stopped in Ukraine, he will attack NATO countries. Well, there's no argument for that. Um, I mean, there's no evidence of that. That is merely rhetoric, and specifically, more than likely, based on Russian propaganda, which we are known. The Kremlin is masterminds of this propaganda, what we call a diversion of the truth. I call lies, but they just like to call it propaganda. So, again, the point of the war, well, we got to look, into other places to see, well, who else might be possibly affected by this. And, we have a lot of people sounding alarms saying that, hey, eh, the Ukraine is off the rails. This thing is going nuts. That's a sound that it makes when the spies are tapping my feed and they don't want the viewers to hear the stuff that I want you to hear. So we won't get to hear Blinken going off the rails about the weapons we want to send to the Ukraine war. So we'll see if we can hear something else. I mean, we might not get to hear anything. Most likely the audio is going to be defeated for this purpose. But We do what we can. We try to put out the articles. We try to put the news stories. I'm always going to post my links that I share in the comment section down below. You don't have to question that. It'll always be available to you. And there we go. Let's see if we can grab another one here. Uh, Anthony Blinken's going to send more weapons to Ukraine in the name of spreading peace. But we have this other representative here, Bobby Pitton, who says Ukraine defeating Russia was never the goal. The goal was to cause the mass exodus of Ukrainians so that a handful of corrupt families and institutions could buy up some of the most valuable farmland in the world as U.S. is crackling down on foreign ownership. And this is true. You can see it from BlackRock to Vanguard. You can see everybody's over there to Bill Gates and all that. We know they're over there buying up that land as it's being devastated by the war and ravage. And the same thing that they're doing in Hawaii right now. Right after the fires, they went in and snatched up that land cheaper. Of course, that's a good investment, right? That's a good thing to do when people who have money go in and take the freedom away from the people who have been devastated by natural disaster. That's exactly what good Christian, God-fearing people always do. But you know, I think I had one more link about this problem that we're experiencing. And this guy Glenn Greenwald, he's got a pretty successful podcast. He's talking about how profiteering from the war in Ukraine with billions unaccountably flowing from DC by Raytheon, CIA, and Kiev oligarchs is staggering. But Biden's appointment of billionaire heiress to help BlackRock, JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs profiteer in rebuilding escalates it. We're talking about this tweet from a user. It looks like their handle is System Update, who, of course, they want to crash me when I'm trying to get the word out. They don't want you to know the truth. And this is no more evident than what I'm trying to say because I'm nobody. But they know I'm nobody and they think that I might be something, I guess. I don't know. But President Biden just appointed the multi-billionaire heiress, Penny Pritzker, Obama's chief mega donor, to oversee the profiteering plans in Ukraine of BlackRock, JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs to rebuild the country with U.S. funds once Raytheon and Boeing are done profiteering. Sounds a lot like the Bush and Halliburton industry of post 9/11 Iraq. I guess they got a game plan. They got a playbook. They're going by the playbook. This is the playbook. And we look at what is the point is of all these wars and all these different incursions and actions, and a lot of people like to think that new biological warfare with pandemics is part of it, and I say that the release of the COVID virus by U.S. biological laboratories, possibly based in China, was not done in the interest of the United States. Or, sorry, excuse me, was not done in the interest of the country of China, the Chinese Communist Party. I believe it was done more in alignment with the U.S. pursuit of investigation of the theft of Chinese intellectual property, or at least they're using it to that uh, degree. So the World Health Organization, I'm sorry, just checking to see if you're still there. The World Health Organization is pushing for China for full access to solve COVID origins. And what is full access? We want information on their resource. We want information on their processes. We want information on the science that they're using to combat the pandemic. And that would involve getting at their intellectual property that we've been accusing them of thieving from Western countries, in fact, or being sold outright by those who would undermine Western economies. And um, this is only one of the fronts with which we're having to compete with China on. Another is the space front, with which there's some questions about the mining of elements on the lunar surface and what China might be doing to advance themselves in the energy production arena. But I think a lot of this is happening at the same time with our pseudo Cold War with China, or space race with China over the ability to make and this is for a long time been my argument about our investment in outer space, is that it's not returned any reasonable amount of investment. However, what we got going on within the United States right now is some crazy stuff. It's we got Space Force inducted as a military organization, which is that budget we're always talking about, and the military using a lot of Elon Musk, SpaceX, and Starlink equipment in their current practices. And the subsidies based around green energy or conservationism. I was originally called conservationism. It's now called going green. And all of that connecting together in Austin, Texas, where the Army Futures Command is relocating their headquarters. I'm just saying it's a good business idea to move those places close together if that's the directions we're going to take it. And I mean, hopefully they find something out in outer space that's going to make the world a better place to live, and that we're all going to be able to sustain our life on this earth a little bit longer. But what if we're really not from Earth? What if humans really are stranded on this planet, dropped off from somewhere else? I was listening to this Facebook video earlier, and man, it got me going. I'm telling you, this stuff, I mean, even if it's just science fiction, even if it's just a crazy idea, I was entertained as hell, man. Um, Trying to give y'all a little sneak peek. I'm gonna put all these links down in the video, and yeah. Look at this. I'm gonna skip to what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna skip to a part in this video, and we're gonna see if it plays. And if it plays, I'm gonna let it play. And if it doesn't play that good, I'm gonna cut this short. We had a good time. Thanks for coming in tonight. Thanks for viewing LSTV. I appreciate the support. I gotta try to okay, there we go. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if we can get some of this to play. Because my videos ain't playing too good today, but let's see. I'm telling you, they see I want to share some stuff with you, and they know the stuff is too hard. They don't want you to hear it, so they're gonna prevent me from sharing it with you directly. So you have to go out there and look for it on your own. Like I said, I'm gonna post all my links down below, and I mean, I think halfway. Let's see. I'm gonna fight for you. Thousands of years ago and mated with Neanderthals. They're trying to play it now. Okay. Evolve from native Earth organisms. Yeah, I mean, I hope I can edit that out at the end because the sound's gonna be all fucked up. But anyways, thanks for coming in. Thanks for watching LSTV. Y'all have a good week, and we'll get through this shit all right.